Love flops. Renai flops came out of nowhere and became one of my favorite shows of fall 2022. While the first half follows the usual path of a generic fan service harem rom-com, it becomes something more substantive in the second half and truly won me over. One important thing to keep in mind with Love Flops is that it's an original anime, not an adaptation of any source material, and original animes tend to take risks and have twists and turns in their story. Think of stuff like Kill La Kill, Madoka Magica, Code Geass, and so on. So buckle up because it's a fun ride. Story. Studio Passion's fall 2022 high school harem rom-com is a tale of two halves. The first is a tragically bizarre harem show in which the hapless Asahi Kashiwagi meets three girls, one boy, and one teacher on his way to school one day. He doesn't exactly hit it off with any of them, but, lo and behold, they all turn up in his class at school. What's the deal? What is more, by the end of the day, all of them have declared their love for him. Then they move in with him. By now you get the picture that something is not quite right about Love Flops. Surely it cannot be that bad? Is it really bolted together from a whole bunch of other cliched shows? Then space aliens invade. Then there are magical girls, super spies, and fantasy rubbers. And what the heck is going on? The whole thing is batshit crazy. The audience doesn't know if it is intended on taking itself seriously. If you haven't dropped this after the first few episodes, it is probably because you are awaiting the punchline. Something about the first half of this show tells you that we are waiting an explanation for its serious weirdness. Thankfully, the explanation does finally arrive with Kashiwagi waking up in his own bed one day to find that everything has changed. The girls have all gone, and no one at school knows who he is. What happened? You'll have to tune in to find out, but the second half of the show features plot concept much better delivered 1 year before in the JC staff movie. Sing a bit of harmony. There really is nothing wrong with the plot of this little show, but it sadly lacks a lot in delivery. The audience could have bought into the madness of the first half if the second half showed a bit of sophistication. It does not. The second half is as stupid as the first half and really makes no more sense. Trying to squish the whole thing into a science fiction format is abrupt and doesn't work. Sadly, it is the only way to resolve the plot, but comes across as if the writers ran out of ideas and decided upon something like, it was all just a bad dream. Cast. We have Ryota Osaka as Kashiwagi Asahi, who has presented as some memorable voice acting such as Climb at Overlord, Sek Bronzatsu at Black Clover, and Sadao Mao at Hataraku Mao-sama, and Ayana Takatatsu as Amelia Irving, whom you might recall by W from Arknights, Reimei Zenso and Yamato from Kankali, Itsuka Ano Umida, but I always will remember her as Keikaru Izawa in Yukoso Jitsuryoku Shija Shugi no Kyushitsu. Hisako Kanemoto as Monfa, by whom has just presented us Ami Mizuno from Bishijo Senshi Sailor Moon Cosmos movie. Miku Ito also have a double kind of rule, both as Aoizumisawa and Ai Izawa. I became her fan after her fabulous voice acting in 5-2 no Hanayome as Miku Nakano. Marika Kuno also voice acts as Karen Istel. Ri Takahashi lends her voice to Irina Ilyukina. With such a cast, there is no way you would get disappointed by voice acting, right? We also have Shiori Izawa as Lovelin, Yukio Fuji as Yoshino Feynman, Jun Fukuyama as Yoshio Ijuin for supporting roles. Should I watch it? If you're someone with a short fuse and low tolerance for nonsense, I can tell you right now Renai Flops won't be for you. Its first episodes are intentionally trope-y and very generic. But if you're too quick to drop the show, you'll miss out on seeing how the show actually deconstructs some of these generic tropes. While the first few episodes largely feature your usual harem shenanigans, the second half contains a pretty major plot twist that turns the world upside down and changes how you look at the reality these characters are living in. Many of those generic tropes from earlier episodes will take on a totally different meaning if you're able to stick it out. The closest thing I would compare it to is Muv Love, of which it clearly takes some inspiration and in a way parodies. The childhood friend garbage sucked, but at least it didn't take itself too seriously. The episode on the girl who everyone thought was trans was bad, but pretty much what I'd expect from anime. This anime has scored 6.73 on my anime list with more than 30,000 votes, and currently ranking as number 5358. So give it a try. You won't regret it. Thank you for subscribing to the channel and liking the video.